In my last video, Fear and Survival, I really wanted to quite clearly elucidate the principle that the system creates a world of fear for us to live in order to make us operate from a base instinct of survival. And from that fear-based survival instinct, we treat ourselves and others quite badly, not to mention the neurosis and depression that ensues. And so, given I've now described that living in fear produces a neurotic survival mode, I was then looking forward to making this companion video, a video of how you may, after knowing the fear survival dynamic, move on in your thinking. Now, before I get on to my suggestion of how to approach things after you've internalized the fear survival concept, consider Maslow's famous hierarchy of needs. If you're not familiar with it, it's basically a social sciences or psychology-based pyramid diagram that illustrates the overall basic totality of a human being's needs. Essential and basic needs for survival are at the base. These lowest base needs are animal needs that every living creature has in common: food, shelter, sleep, etc., followed by safety. And as one works up the ever-narrowing pyramid, we get to enlightened self-actualization at the very top, where you essentially become your own Yoda. So consider what happens as the system continually keeps you subjugated in a state of fear at the bottom, worrying about losing your base needs, keeping you trapped there, never allowing you to evolve above a scared animal. You do realize that this base level you're kept in is where domesticated farm animals also reside. So is it any wonder why we can't move past our own neurosis and connect with others and ourselves to find meaning in our lives? Is it any surprise that we are continually operating from our base animal survival brain? Why we seldom use our prefrontal lobe, where essentially we're conditioned to react like those chimps in a zoo who have their hands out for food and treats. So consider Maslow's diagram of human needs as how the system keeps you willfully feeling trapped at the bottom at that fear level. Now, if the system constantly frames to you what it is to be a human being with only what you have, as such, you will always then tend to concede to whatever Big Brother offers you. And with that kind of subservient and frightened mindset, you are very, very easily controlled. You are effectively stuck in a game where you're a tiny shaking baby chicklet looking up at mother, i.e. the system, that is both scaring you one moment saying, boo, and right the next moment saying, oh, there, it's okay, I'm here to protect you from whatever said boo. And from this psychotic and disingenuous push-pull dynamic from the system can then quite conveniently take stuff away from you to punish you, or give stuff to you to reward you, that is, control you. But the trick is, you think you're in control, with you oblivious to the notion that both your perceived notion of bad and good is coming from the same source, the system, and not you. Your values are not your own, and all during this game, the system is making your internal sense of security wholly dependent on them. Think about it. If your sense of feeling good about yourself comes from a Pavlovian handout from your master, and it doesn't matter if that master is a woman, your parents, social stigma, money, cars, holidays, stuff, whatever, then what does that say about your true sense of comfort in your life, your self-actualized ownership of you? Why can't you sit still? What are you attached to? What couldn't you bear losing? If the system has sold you on what is valuable, but then when that thing is gone or leaves you, you feel lost or suicidal, what does that say about your reality? Heck, many of the modern generation are so easily controlled and don't know it that all Big Brother needs to do is switch their mobile phone access off. Think about that kind of Pavlovian control. How much of your stability and peace in your life can be taken away by something or someone just disappearing? If most of us are honest with ourselves, we'd smile internally and think, yeah, if I'm honest, I'd be screwed if that thing disappeared from my life. Think about how your identity may be solely dependent on external situations or people. You know, MGTOW often talk about male-mother need and the need to eschew female validation, which is completely sensible. by the way that umbilical cord used to be cut automatically at puberty in times gone by rituals performed by elders and ceremonies, but not today. And today, we have even more validation heaped upon us, not just from women, but from things, from titles. What if your title of dad or manager or lifting the most weights at the gym or your YouTube account went away? Just like that. Coterie recently made a video called On the Minimalist Lifestyle. Check it out in the low bar. His video came at the exact time I was writing this, and after watching his video, it connected a few more dots in my own narrative relating to what I'm speaking of here. You see, the concept of living your life structured around not safety, but the minimalist mental principle of finding contentment and happiness in knowing that there is little to nothing that will ever, in a generalized real sense, be able to take your mental stability away again. That is a confident, calm state of self-ownership. You see, it's always just about you. You're all that matters. It's a constructive and rational solipsism based on viewing yourself as the only final priority in your world. And so you're liberated with only being responsible for you. Isn't that a freeing feeling? Now, of course, when I describe solipsism in this way, I don't actually mean that you believe everything outside of you is only a figment of your imagination. I just mean putting your rational self-interest in front of everything you do. And when I say put yourself first, I don't actually advocate treating others badly. One of my personal memes has always been don't prosper by deceit or force. But other than that, just live for yourself. Not her, not the job, not in reaction to shame, not anything other than your contented life. The minimalist mindset is colloquially understood with objects. Sure, consuming is bad and loving everyone is good. But if you look at how people live, it's a bumper sticker to most people, that phrase. People pretend to be quite brave when pontificating, stuff isn't important, it's just what's inside that counts. Yes, nice platitudes, but just watch how people live. Watch what their actions are. Just wait until a divorce hits, or you lose your job, or someone dies. Then it's different. There's a saying in war, it's easy to be brave when you're miles from the front line. As an aside, this, I think, is the position most women operate from in our culture today. They're the most privileged class in history, and on top of that, they're also so far from danger that it makes their girl power laughable. In terms of the minimalist lifestyle, consider thinking about your attachment to stuff beyond just the stuff of objects. Mentally speaking, consider your attachment to people's approval, their shaming of you, titles, narratives of who you are by others. Attachment to these, how can I put it, concepts of ourselves often affect us the same as being attached to objects. The principle stems from the same socially agreed upon values. And since the system of gynocentrism places you in a role and formalizes this reality for you,
this is who you are, mister. This life script is normal. That's just life. What are you going to do? It's normal to work a job you hate. It's normal to marry and have kids. You have to settle down. It's normal to just date the complaining idiots, the damaged, petulant, bargain basement sagging single mums out there. It's normal to live for others first. It's normal for your civil liberties to be spat on.
Instead of accepting all that like it's gravity, like it's true, instead of allowing the dysfunctional system of gynocracy to repress your true identity, I offer this simple idea. Generate your own reality. If you're laughing at this fanciful idea, like it's talking about unicorns, then I'd suggest having a look at yourself and what you really believe about your own self-worth and perspective in your own life. You see, most people don't generate their own reality because they just don't know they can. I know it's weird to accept the new divergent mode of thinking, but what have you got to lose? If you've been living in a grey and boring treadmill of personal disappointment for decades, just entertain the idea or not, it's up to you. But to those that resonate with something I'm saying here, just make that choice and your reality is what you know it to start becoming. I know the knee-jerk reaction in you may be,
so if I say I'm a billionaire, then money will just fall from the sky?
No. Repeating brainwashing Tony Robbins memes in the mirror does nothing if you don't believe in them. Motivation and self-talk does jack shit if you don't believe in it. Repetition might help, but you need to believe in it over time. Most people want the empowered sayings and memes to do all the heavy lifting, spiritually speaking, in their lives. It won't. Motivation is just a road sign. Your action and mindset is everything. Knowing something is not the same as wanting it to be true. That's what most pop culture self-help is about, hoping for it to be true by just repeating something. Believing in something is like knowing you love your mum or your dad. It's like knowing what passion gives you joy. Knowing something. It's the state in which if someone said,
"You don't love your father,"
I'd laugh because it's the opposite of my ingrained reality. It would seem laughably ridiculous to even suggest otherwise. I don't love my dad? Get the fuck out of here. So I realized that this concept of generating your own reality or being rationally solipsistic is very hard for people who are saturated in a culture that keeps them hooked on junk food as they keep running on treadmills to work it off. And what prolonged exposure to accepting the system's reality for longer and longer instead of your own is that it has a despiritualizing effect on you. I mean, people who have started to wake up to the system out there aren't stupid. If life is getting harder and greyer, if life doesn't satisfy anymore, if there's no colour in your life, whether you're someone who has everything or feels they never have enough and your happiness is always tomorrow, regardless of where you may be on the spectrum, people are starting to notice that they're not living the lives they want to live. And if the system only offers up entertainment and distractions as the only momentary rest from your empty life, then I'd offer create a different reality for yourself. Simply define your world for you. Learn to say no. That's a big one. Make every decision yours. And if people get pissed off at you simply not being a yes machine to them, then you're on the first step to knowing the truth of the people around you. You're not there to generate anyone's life but yours. Define your own reality with a minimalist simplicity. Under principles that make you happy, your hobbies, your goals that keep you creating stuff through the week, that keep you enthusiastic about your precious life. Look, I'm a guy in my 40s who's enthusiastic about fitness, illustration, painting, design, creating videos and music, all of which I'm sharing with you right now. How cool is it? I mean, yours could be gardening, drawing, writing, traveling, hiking, blogging, building something, cars, skateboards, studying astronomy, knitting, I don't know, or whatever you want it to be. Just generate your own reality and do it, however simple it might be, without anyone's approval, where you define your enthusiasm for your week and answer to no one. Keep your flame alive and always go your own way. Later, guys.